All right, today I want to talk with you about how to start your non-medical home care agency in the state of Florida. Okay, so we're going to go through the 10 steps that we need to take to get our agency started. I'm also going to be referencing Florida's own checklist and application. And if we have not yet met, hi, my name is Bethany. I am the founder of the Home Care Agency Academy, where I help owners, future owners like yourself, get their agency up and running successfully without frustration, without wasting any time, providing the guidance. So we have a program that has all the lessons and master classes to help you start your agency on the right foot. It also includes 6 months of group coaching where we meet twice a month on Zoom and unlimited email access to me where you can ask me anything. And lastly, it includes 2 private Zoom sessions. So you with me, so I can help you with your application. I can help you with anything that you want. Those are 2 1-hour Zoom sessions, and we use that to help you get your agency started and running the right way. All right, let me go ahead and take a peek here at Florida. Love, love Florida. Just side note, like, so nice, so warm. So just love it. All right, let me get this up here. So, hmm, when we look at starting in Florida, we are going to want to, first of all, got to choose your agency name. And you're going to register that name through sunbiz.org. That is something that Florida requires. You're also going to obtain your EIN through the IRS. Very simple and easy to do that. And it's completely free to do that. Then you're going to submit your application for home care and companion registration. So it's more of a registration currently in Florida rather than a license, but still there's some regulation around it, even though it's registration and not license. You're going to have to complete some background screening, have insurance and bond as well. You're going to want to have your policy manual all done, policies and procedures, and employee documents all together. Then you're going to, once you get all that done, you're going to get into, of course, hiring, training your caregivers, marketing locally online, and maintaining compliance. And you have to renew this registration biannually. Okay. Now let me go ahead and pop over to the actual application. I like to take a peek at this so I know what's going on here. And I'm going to share this with you. All right. So this is what the application looks like for homemaker and companion services. And this is for our non-medical folks, right? We're not doing skilled care. This is for non-medical home care. So there's a lot of fine print here. But this fine print is also speaking to the renewal and that you need to renew within at least 60 days prior to the expiration of your registration. So that's what that is talking about there in that fine print. So then section 1 here is provider information. So you're going to need to have some of your information. All these are if applicable. So you're just starting out, you're not going to have a registration number yet. You're not necessarily going to have your MPI yet or a Florida Medicaid number, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you do need to have the name of your company and how you filed it with the Florida Division of Corporations. So that's also like how you're going to be doing business. Are you going to be an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, a DBA? Those are things that you need to figure out. And if you're not sure, I would definitely recommend talking to a tax accountant if you have one or if you know one, and just ask them what's best. I will say that probably 90%, 95% of non-medical home care agency owners, they do an LLC, but that's not necessarily for everybody, but just to give you that. So then you're going to enter in demographics here. And let me see here, what else do you need to have? Again, they want to have the licensee name, your EIN number, so you will need to get that, like we talked about at the beginning. And then you're going to let them know if you're an LLC or corporation, sole proprietor, like we talked about before. Application types and fees. So to register, initial register and renewal, it looks like it's $50.75 to do that. And then they want to know about your controlling interests of the license. So they want to know who else is involved in your company. Is it just you? Do you have sole ownership, or are there other people that are involved? And the big thing with this too is that for those people that you list below, if you list any people below, they are going to have a background check. Okay, so just being aware of that. And then board members and officers of licensee as listed in 1D above. Provide the information for each individual entity that serves as an officer. Do not include any. So it looks like here in Florida, they want you to have a board potentially. Um, so this is common. Some states require you to have a board, and that can be yourself and like two other people. It can be that you only meet once or twice a year, and it's basically like you as the president, and then you would have maybe like a secretary, maybe a treasurer, maybe a vice president or something of the board, and you're basically just showing the state of Florida that you hold meetings talking about the health and well-being of your company and what's happening currently and where you want to go in the future. So those are not necessarily like a paid position to have somebody on your board, but it looks like it might be a requirement for Florida. And if you I wonder if you start your agency in a different, like if you're um a sole proprietor, perhaps you won't need a board. I don't know. It looks like you need a board. It looks like that's what's needed here. Might need to do a little more research on that, but at first glance, that's what it's looking like. Um, And then management, like who's managing your company. So you're going to be managing it. So then we'd skip right to section 6. I'm assuming you're managing it. And so then it's going to talk about your personnel. So this is your administrator, your managers, financial person responsible for financial operations. Their information goes in here. And again, for the administrator and financial officer, there needs to be some background checks going on, and they give you a link there to do that. And then let's see, they want you to disclose if anybody does have any offenses, um, or any sort of exclusions, suspensions, terminations from Medicare and Medicaid. They want to know about that. If the applicant or a controlling interest in the applicant has any actions that have ever occurred, like being convicted of anything, terminated for cause from a Medicare program. So there's some checks and balances that Florida requires with your registration. Um, so let's see here. Section 8 is going to be provider fines and financial information. So they want to know if you have any outstanding liens or fines or overpayments as described. So if we're going to say no, we're going to hop right down to section number 9, your geographic service area. So this is where you're going to decide where you're going to be providing care. And so this is looking at the various I'm gonna say that these are all, yeah, these are all the counties. I'm going based, like, I live in Maine. I don't live in Florida, but I love Florida. And I'm always, yes, like looking, um, I'm always looking around at different things in Volusia County, St. John. So yeah, okay. Yes, these are counties. Okay, gotcha. So you're going to choose which county that you're going to be providing the care in, your hours of operation. And please note here, when you're trying to figure out your hours of operation, that first of all, if you don't have the ability to start right out doing like an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., then don't put that down. Just only put down what you can do. Because the thing about it is if you right here, failure to be open during the listed hours may result in a fine. So if one of the inspectors comes by, a surveyor pops by at 2 p.m. on a Thursday and you're not there because maybe you got called into the field, or maybe you're out doing a supervisory visit, or maybe you're doing an intake, something of that nature, right? Or maybe in the beginning, you have to keep working your job while you get your agency going. All right. So if they stop by and nobody's there, then that's going to be trouble. Okay. So we want to make sure that you're putting down what hours you can actually do, what you have the capacity to do. Okay. And then let's see here. There's going to be some supporting documentation that they want you to possibly submit. Some of these just say, if applicable, if we look at just the initial here, a healthcare licensing application addendum, I'm not so certain you're going to be needing that. All application types are going to be required to disclose related to actions taken by Medicare, if applicable. And I think that we've already kind of discussed that before, where they asked you those questions. Approved repayment plan, if applicable. Again, I don't think you're gonna need that. And then the last page is basically just you signing off that everything here is true and to your best of your knowledge, and you're submitting this form. So then you would return this form with the fees to that address. Um, mhm. Says do not fold any of the documents being submitted, no staples, paper clips, binder clips, or notebooks, and don't bind any of the documents submitted to the agency. So it looks like this is going to be mailed in, and make sure you get a big envelope because I do not want it folded. All right, so that's kind of the walk through the beginner steps to starting your agency in Florida. If you have any questions about this or anything at all, please reach out. Email me at support@bethanyratcliffe.com. All right, have a great day.